Alright, so in this video, I'm going to go through 5 tips for communication in Rainbow Six Siege that will hopefully help you win more games and rank up. The 5 tips I'm going to go through will start off from more basic tips to get more advanced further on through the video, so make sure you watch until the end for everything that's involved. So the first tip that I'm going to talk about is actually use your mic to communicate. There's a lot of people in the game that when they want to communicate and stuff, they'll just start typing in chat, like they'll just go like, yo, on ping, blah blah blah, and then they'll get on the cam and start pinging, or they'll type like the actual call out, but they won't like actually say the call out. And at that point, you're kind of just expecting your teammates that might be in the middle of gunfights to just start reading the chat to see what the actual info is, or it could just get them killed because they look away from the screen or puts them off. So what you want to do is to just simply use your mic to communicate. And this goes as well for if you're not communicating at all. Just start communicating and use your mic. Like, just literally, it's as simple as that. Rather than typing it in chat if you're on PC, or like just not giving any info if you're on Xbox. No one, like, realistically, no one really cares in ranked, at least. No one really cares about, like, there's some people in ranked that might sort of not want to use the mic for whatever reason. Like, maybe they don't like the way they sound, maybe they're a little bit young, maybe they like sound dead squeaky on the mic, and I think people are going to like take the mic out of them for that. Which realistically, in rank, everybody's trying to win, so nobody's really going to be going out the way to do stuff like that. So it's simple as, if you want to win, then you need to start using your mic and start coordinating and calling out and actually doing communication. That's the first tip. The second tip is to learn the map callouts. Now this again is pretty basic knowledge, but I'm going to go through some ways of learning the map knowledge, like the map callouts, if you don't already know them. Because learning the map callouts is actually like half of the battle. Generally, maps will have like similar callouts for like similar looking areas. So if a room looks like a kitchen, it's probably called kitchen, for example, which makes sense like realistically. But like if you're not sure what a room actually is called, you'll see on the bottom of the screen a compass with like some letters above it, like first floor bakery or 1F bakery, which is the name of the room that you're in. As you'll see over here, we'll go to first floor prep room. The 1F just means first floor. So if you don't know what room the actual defender's in, just see the compass call out at the bottom of the screen. And if you don't have compass on, it'll be one of your HUD settings. So if you go to options, HUD, and just go to normal, it'll turn it all on so you can actually see the compass. That's a quick way. If you want to go more advanced, you can just scroll through the things to find the actual compass settings. But then when you start getting to more like bigger rooms, there's generally more than just the compass call out for that one room. Like, for example, if we go into service here, this is kitchen service technically. However, there's like loads of different positions in kitchen service where somebody could be. So for example, if I'm sitting here, I'm going to be called out as red double door or something like that, something along those lines. Even though there's multiple red double doors, which is a bad call out, but like they can't just say kitchen, because then my teammates have to look there, they have to look behind the sinks, plates, and then they have to look sinks, which again is 2 other call outs you can use. So when you start getting more like higher up the ranks and more advanced, you'll start hearing people say more like specific callouts. For example, like I just said before, yeah, technically can be called sinks because there's loads of sinks here, right? And then if you come over here, people sometimes call this coffee because there's a coffee machine, or people call it plates. Kind of depends on the team that you're playing with. A good thing, if you play with like a 5-stack, the same 5-stack every time, you might want to go through the maps and just think of callouts like this. Go for all the rank maps and just think of more specific callouts that each one of you guys know. For example, every single like competitive team that I've been on have kind of done this and figured out the specific callouts for areas. Even if they're not generic callouts, as long as you guys know what's happening, you'll know how to call out. Like, as long as you guys know where them callouts are, you'll know exactly what's being said and what's being called out essentially. Another way of learning these without just going through the maps yourself is to just watch like higher ranked players, like streamers and stuff, who play the games, who are playing with stacks, and they'll start using callouts that maybe you haven't heard before. But because you'll see what's happening in the game, you'll know where that callout actually is. So you can start like learning that way as well. That's another way that people learn how to like callouts on the maps. If you want a quick way of learning all of the compass callouts, maybe like you're really like fresh with Siege, there's a website called r6calls.com. I'll leave a link in the description. If you go on that, you can click on the map that you're going to play, that you like just got in the map on phase. You go on the map, and then it has all of the callouts for all of the floors, and then you just need to kind of look around on there. Like, so when you're going around the map, if you die somewhere, you can quickly check, okay, that's blah 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 is the callout, and then it'll say exactly what the callout is. And there's the one problem with like the doing the specific calls, as I mentioned before, is that only the people who know these specific calls will understand the call out. So maybe if you're not so high ranked, and if you're solo queue a lot with loads of different random teammates, then it's probably not good to call out these kind of specific calls just because they might not understand it. As a general rule of thumb, when you play the game more, you'll realize what like specific callouts, like specific callouts, I mean, are like callouts that aren't the compass callouts, but people will know what they are. So like technically this is kitchen cooking, but I'll just call this prep window, right? So you'll know which ones are more like generally widely understood and which ones aren't just by using them in games more. And if people are confused, just start using the compass callouts again. Alright, so the third tip that I want to talk about to do with communication is specificity. Now, what does that mean? Basically, specificity means don't just say the call out, like don't just say there's one in court. Don't just say there's a guy in courtroom or court check. Basically, what you want to do is you want to say where they are and what they're doing. You want to say, are they standing? Are they crouching? So I'll give you an example now. If I'm crouching on the right side of this window like this, if I'm droning it, let's say I'm droning through reception here, I'll drone it and I'll say, okay, well, because he was crouching on the right side, on this side, it'll be the left side, right? So it'll be like, okay, one crouching left side courtroom window, and then people will know that, okay, so if I want to pre-fire if I get that call out, I know that, let's say I'm coming down brown, I'll know that to pre-aim the bottom left, and just be able to get a free kill. Instead of just saying this one in court, now you don't know, like, it could be crouching like that, it could be standing up, it could be holding like this side of it, it could be like just in the middle of it, it couldn't even just be like that, it couldn't even not be peeking it. It's, as long as you know exactly what they're doing, it's better info, right? And it's more like realistic, not realistic, it's more like actionable. So make sure you're saying not just where they are, but what they're doing as well. Another thing as well to do with specificity is like the tone of your voice. You want to change your tone of voice depending on like the severity of the call out. So let's say you're holding a flank drone on this red stairs here, your teammates are in the red hallway down here, you're holding a drone, let's just say you're holding the drone here, blah blah blah, I'm watching the flank on the drone, someone comes flanking down red stairs. At this point, by the time they get down here, it's an important call out because within maybe 2 seconds your teammates are going to be dead. So at that point you need to start getting more like active and more like firm with your talking to be like make sure people listen. Like if I'm holding a flank drone that's top floor and I see somebody walking around top floor but none of my teammates are attacking the top floor, I don't really need to shout to my teammates to call out. I can just say, by the way guys, there's one top floor, or something like that without the filler words of by the way guys. But when they start trying to flank and actually get like to the point where it's a problem, then you want to start getting more like firm and more like assertive of guys, you need to look at the flank, you need to look at the flank. If they're not looking, if they start looking, then it's fine. And then at that point you can start saying, right, they're crouching down, they're holding a wide angle, stuff like that. Some people will give callouts with like no energy all of the time, and when it needs to have energy, it doesn't, and it doesn't have the same impact. And then some people will always just shout callouts and shout things that when it's not like actionable, like when it's not really mattering, people stop listening. And then it has like the sort of boy who cried wolf effect of like when it needs to be shouted, but because they shout everything, it doesn't have the same effect. So make sure you have the right sort of tone of voice for the actual like impact that the call out will have on the round. Now the fourth thing I want to talk about is positivity. Maintaining a positive like attitude significantly will bring up the vibes of the stack and bring up the vibes of the team and the communication within the game. Basically what I'm saying is you should be a beacon of fucking positivity in your games. You should be the happiest person in the lobby, because people will feel that vibe and be on the same wavelength as you and start getting more happy. And if someone tilts easy, they'll not tilt as easy because they'll be happy and they'll be like talking along, having a laugh. Even if you're not happy with things that your teammates are doing, there's literally zero point in talking about it in the middle of the round. There's no point flaming a teammate for playing bad. Chances are, if you're solo queuing, you're never going to see these teammates ever again. Or you might, but like later down the line or on a different map where what they're doing in this game doesn't matter. So what I'll do is I'll just leave it in the past and move on, like, and simply just carry on with the game, pretend like stuff like that doesn't happen. If you're being negative in the game, you're going to literally you're going to bring down yourself because you're going to be pissed off, and you're going to bring down your teammates because they're going to be pissed off, and nobody's going to play well. And do you think you're going to win games like that? Realistically, no. So just be a normal person and just don't have problems that you don't need to have, and just like literally it's as simple as that. So how can you do this? If your teammates do a good play, let's say your teammate like runs in, gets a 3k, right? Tell them good job, say well played, say good job, like you've done well mate, good job. If someone clutches a big round, like big them up for it. Make sure they know that they did a good job, because I mean they will know as well. They will know themselves they did a good job, but just tell them anyway, just to big them up even more, give them that validation. Even if someone nearly clutches, or shit, even if somebody fails a clutch miserably, let's say they're in a 1v5 and they get 1 kill and die, it's not really a good try, but just tell them nice try. Tell them nice try. Okay, we'll move on next round. Nice try, good try, like almost good try. Just say stuff like that just to keep people in the game. It'll keep people locked in and keep them actually wanting to win. Then when it comes to playing with a stack, like the same stack consistently, you still don't want to bring down the vibe. Like if someone's having problems, if someone's like being a problem within the game, what you want to do is you want to just take note of it and talk about it after the game, rather than talking about it in the middle of the game where people are still focusing. You want to keep the attention on the game, and then after the game maybe start like airing things out if there's like problems that need to be discussed that could like affect future games. And then at that point it won't like break the mental of the players in the stack because you're like blaming people mid game. Now the fifth and final thing I want to talk about is micro plays. Now this is a more advanced part of communication, but communication isn't just giving callouts and like listening to your teammates' callouts. Communication is building strategies off of like information within the game to sway the round in your favor. So what does that mean? These are like things that are called micro plays. I didn't coin the name. I heard it first from an old teammate of mine. But there's like kind of like strategies, mini strategies that are separate from like the main strategy of your round. So like little things that'll give you an upper hand within the round. The good part about these things is they're really hard to counter because even you don't know what they are going into the round. So you can see kind of openings and you can act on these openings and be more active player within the game. It's always good to not just be a passive player that just sits and waits. It's always good to be an active player that thinks of how to win the rounds and thinks about what's going on within the rounds and to like try and build ideas. And then if you start doing these off the cuff like plays with your teammates, like coordinating a double flank for example, or coordinating a double swing to force out refrags and force like trades that are in your favor, it just makes the game so much easier to win. If you want like an example of what a micro play is, the easiest like example I can give you. Now, what can you do with micro plays? Essentially, like because micro plays are just little strategies that you can like build off. You can do whatever you want with them. The advantage of like you can take map control back. You can regain map control. You can just get a kill within the round, get a frag, or you can even just break some kind of utility. Like you can break like a hard breach gadget, like a thermite or an ace, with a micro play. And you'll have the upper hand now because you've done whatever your plan was and you've got away, or maybe you've lost one person but you've got a trade out, and then at that point if you're a defender getting a trade out, it's kind of a good thing for you. And at that point, like I'd rather just get a trade out than to just lose my life for nothing, do you know what I mean? So at least you're getting something out of it. The easiest example I can think of a micro play, which is something that you probably already do to like actually show you what a micro play is like flashing and breaching and destroying a shield that's placed somewhere on an attack. You can like coordinate with your teammates to be like, okay, flash this shield and I'm going to ash it. So they flash, blah 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 blah, flash, and then you ash the shield. That's a micro play. You've coordinated that micro play to gain the advantage of getting rid of that shield that was in a pivotal spot for the defenders. Now, that's like the very base level example. There's other examples like coordinating a double flank. Let's say you're defending kitchen here. The enemies are trying to play vertical pressure, and if you know that you're going to sit on site and just get killed by the vertical, why not do something about it? Why not go for a double flank? Why not go for a triple flank? If you think you sitting in sight or just playing passive is going to lose you the round, then call a triple flank at that point, where 3 people start flanking up at the same time and coordinate. Like someone goes up red, someone goes up brown, even someone can go up white, and then you can have like 3-way pinch onto them in training, mining, and dining. And it's as easy as that. So basically, how can you do this in your games? Instead of just thinking, what can I do to win a round? What play can I make to win this round? Also think about how can I get my teammates involved? If I'm thinking solo queue that I want to flank up these brown stairs, then I'll start telling my teammates, yo, someone come up with me, someone come up and we'll force a refrag out. And then people will listen to you. Because if you speak with like authority and speak with like firmness, if you sound like if you sound like the plan, you trust the plan in your head, people will listen to you and people will follow you. So what that means is, in a situation where maybe I would have tried to solo flank up, and where maybe I might have got one and then I might have died, or it comes to the point where the worst case you'll have is a refrag if they listen to you and follow you properly. So that's all I want to talk about for this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.